Real life is really funny and really sad and really tragic. And if you make, and like, it's not my style to make anything just one of those things.
Buster is amazing, because of the stunts, but also, his nickname was the Great Stoneface. Mm-hmm. And you can see it there. That's why I love that photo with his little doll of himself. But I heard you talk about him, but then it's also like you are him in many ways.
I'm gonna cry. No, don't say that.
I mean, I haven't seen you do the stunts yet.
I do them. I do them.
You do?
I gotta say, oh yes, I do. Many stunts, yes.
But that subtle comedy with just like your eyes and staying stoic, how did that develop? Like a lot of this, it is all tied into like your movie is about identity and like, kind of like your identity to the outside world and how you see yourself. Like, when did you realize that you were so good at that? I
can't explain what happened. Like, I was watching the screen and I was like, that's me. That's what I want to do. Like that. What? And I was so, I've never connected to anything more in my life, as far as like what I deeply felt was funny and good and inarguably great. There's just something about his work, not only, the stunts or the small bits or anything, but the entirety of his films that are so straight to my heart, influential and very connective to me. And I was like, how am I so connected to somebody, who died so long before I was born and who made these movies? But there's just something about him that I also, there's a timelessness. It's still so funny today. Like, when you watch I Love Lucy and you're like, how is this still so funny? Like, this still makes you laugh. That's hard to do. And at his time, like, comedy was a little hokey and over the top, and he was very realistic and very simple in the way he presented things. He didn't overdo it.
Let's talk about Plan B. Let's talk about
what
the first time you read the script, right? What did you respond to, and why did you want to make it?
I read the script and I was like, this has something really, really special. This could be like, not to toot my horn, but I was like, if I make this could be great.
But that's what you have to feel, right? As a director.
Yes, I know, right? I had this like personal attachment to it where I was like, I have an idea for how this is not like everything else. Like, it's already not like everything else. It has this sort of subversive thing to it where it is a teen movie, right? And it does have these elements of like teenage coming of age movies, but the two leads are not Caucasian. They're not men. And the quest, like all these teen movies have, these quests in them typically, which is like, let's get laid, or let's get alcohol, or let's get to the cool party, or let's get my dad's car back in time. This was, let's get basic healthcare. And I was like, I think there's a way to do this where you don't notice what's happening until it's right in front of you, until you realize what it is. And we can keep it in this comedic world. And I also found, in particular with this movie, it needed to be as real as possible, because the antics and the situations that happen to them are crazy. But the two girls and their relationship and their friendship and their quest is so real that if we ground that, then everything else is fun. And then at some point at the Planned Parenthood, you realize, oh shit, this is what this movie's about. And these two girls shouldn't have had to go through all of this to get basic healthcare. And that's the state of everything in our country. So that sort of like subversiveness was very, very attractive to me. You get to that moment of real desperation and real, like, because that moment happens to women all the time in so many situations. Like, I've said this before, but for many people, and women included, walking out in the world every single day is funny and terrifying and weird and dangerous, and all those things combined. So I wanted to show that in a movie, and I'm glad that it seemed to work. I think that there was a history of female-led indie movies that had this like milky pastel-y wash over them and seemed to live in this like beautiful world, which was fine, but it's something I've seen before. Yeah, that's Sandra right there. And our stunt double, Sam. And also, you know, there's the opposite, which is the like comedy, which is all brightly lit and like nothing pretty about it. It's just funny. And so I was like, why? I really wanted to give girls this movie, but also have it be beautiful and have the scenes and the way we shot it be visually very, very interesting. You know, like I was very inspired by Raising Arizona, how that movie is ridiculously funny, but also beautiful. And I think that comedy can do that. I mean, I'm a photographer as well. And this is where the like Buster Keaton stuff comes in. Some of those shots are incredibly beautiful. And I think that there's space for beauty in comedy, and there's space for like a really incredible frame and color and something that's well thought out visually. I liked the grit and the reality of these like 70s and 80s movies like Fast Times and Ferris Bueller. Oh, these are Sandra's things. Great, exactly. Fast Times and Clueless also has a really good use of color in there, even though it's not 70s. But this like sense of Americana that I wanted to bring to this story and these two, you know, daughters of immigrants, I wanted it to feel like those movies that felt very American to us. I wanted it to feel that way, and I wanted you to see their skin, you know, and see the if they had any spots in their skin, and I wanted you to see the reds and those colors. And I think they have like a kind of a 70s vibe in the way they dress. There is a 70s influence in the movie.
My question is about the girls, the casting. I love them. I love them. So how did you work with them, or was it something that you just already knew that these were them, or what was the process like?
If we don't have not only the right actors for the role, but the right chemistry between the friends, the movie falls apart. It's a love story between the friends. Like it really is that, right? And you need that. Like I always call it like Fleabag and the priest chemistry, because watching season 2 of Fleabag, you're like, that's chemistry. I've never seen chemistry before. That is chemistry. And that's what I was like, we can't accept anything less than that. That is what we need. It's that something that feels that real. As an actor, I'm so used to, you know, doing an audition with zero feedback and zero, like when we sent out the breakdowns, I'm so glad our casting directors were so kind and gave them to me and were like, is this good? And I was like, nope, got to give them more information, because I wanted people, I know that I've gotten no script. These are the sides, and you're a girl in her 20s. Like you know nothing. How are you going to succeed in that way? So I tried to make it as clear as possible to the actors that were coming, to give them the best chance possible. Every time an actor came, I would like ask them to do it again, and I'd give them some notes and see how they would work with me as a director, and like how they took notes, and if they understood what I was trying to say, and if they were capable of a certain amount of range. You know, there's actors who think about only their role, and there's actors who can see the whole picture, and the actors who can see the whole picture are much easier to work with and are like people that I prefer to work with, because then you can get on the same page about the movie as a whole, and that works really, really well. You know, I think that there are some great actors who only think about their own character, and that's its own thing. But in general, that's what I look for, is somebody who can have the whole process and everybody else involved in their brains while they're being realistic with this thing. I made this movie for myself and for people now, but also for my teenage self. And I know that if I would have had this movie as a teenager, things would have been a little better for me maybe, and a little different. And so it makes me really happy. And, you know, I don't know, it's like I have done in my life way more in this business than I ever thought I would ever be able to. And like 10 years ago, I could have died happy, you know? And so everything else that I get to do or make is just bonus, and it's just great. And I just am like, what else can I get away with doing? What else can I like put into the world? And so the fact that this is hitting in the way that it has hit, and is being, you know, well received and connecting with people, it really is, it means a lot to me. I don't want to cry, but it does mean a lot to me.